Let's look at how my 2024 reading year went. I was so naive and optimistic. Oh, it's just, I was such a sweetheart. I did read 84 books in 2024. I did not do it. I did not do that. So I am DNFing like it's nobody else's business. 54%. 54, okay? Hello 2025. This is the year that I turned 30. The world is going to shit. I need 2025 to be a good reading year because otherwise... Hello my lovely readers and queers, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. I am Franny and today I am coming out of my hiatus to finally, at last, talk a little bit about how my 2024 reading year went. So a little bit of a 2024 reading wrap-up of sorts, and also to share with you some of my reading goals and resolutions for 2025, which I am very excited about. 2025 has so much potential as a reading year, and I'm excited. Since I'm doing this so late, I will just try to make it short and sweet. That being out of the way, let's look at how my 2024 reading year went, because there are some positive things, some negative things, some things that are not too bad, but I can definitely work on. So let's look at it together. At the beginning of 2024, I had uploaded a video on my channel. I will leave it linked if for some reason you want to go and watch it. But in that video, in which I was so naive and optimistic. Oh, it's just, I was such a sweetheart. I said a bunch of things and I kind of set myself up to fail. So I do not want to be too harsh on myself right now because I did do some things, right? First and foremost, I had said that I was going to read 84 books in 2024. And that number came out of a very long-winded explanation with numbers because I am not a normal human being. That should be clear if you have been on this channel before, if you know me. So I wanted to read 84 books, and I am happy to say that with a little bit of, compassion towards myself, I did technically read 84 books in 2024. I finished 79. I DNF'd 10 books, but out of those 10, there are 5 that I read almost halfway through. So I do think that I really put in an effort with those books, and therefore I'm going to count them as read for my 2024 reading goal challenge. I'm going to give this to myself. I did read 84 books in 2024, so I completed my reading challenge. However, something that I'm really not happy with, that I am quite upset about, is my queer ratio reading challenge, the LGBT plus books challenge, because I said that 70% of the books that I was going to read in 2024 was going to be queer. And the actual percentage of queer books that I read in 2024 is 69. And I could make a dirty joke here about that number, but I am turning 30 this year, so I expect more from myself. I did not complete this goal. I did not do it. The LGBT plus challenge was a fail. However, looking at the bright side, I am very happy with the books that I selected and the books that I read. Overall speaking, because my average rating is 4.15, which is so high, and that is partly because I'm getting better at selecting the type of books that I'm going to enjoy, that I want to read, and partly because my time is precious. I have learned my lesson reading very bad books, and so I am not in the slightest forcing myself to finish a book if I'm not enjoying it. I will give it a try if I think it can redeem itself as I go on reading. But if that's not the case, I am DNFing like it's nobody else's business. I do not want to waste my precious time on books that do not deserve my precious time. And that's that on that. So I am very happy with the average rating. I gave 23 books 4 stars. I gave 23 books 5 stars. And then, I gave to 28 books 3 stars and to 5 books 2 stars and 5 DNFs. So we have a total of 84. But the majority of the books that I read has a very high rating. So I'm very happy about that. And you will learn more about the books that I absolutely adored in my best favorite books of 2024 whenever that video comes out. I have yet to film it, so we shall see. And last but not least, there was the format challenge, because I wanted 40% of the books that I read to be audiobooks. And I am very happy to report that 54%, 54% of the books that I read in 2024 was audiobooks. So when I say that I love audiobooks, when I say that I wouldn't be reading as much as I do without audiobooks, I mean it. Because as you can see, more than half of my reading in 2024 was done through audiobooks. Audiobooks are my love. If you are one of those people who say that audiobooks do not count as reading, please go away. I will not take offense. I do not want you here, and I say that with love. No, actually, I do not say it with love, because if you do not count audiobooks as books, then you are privileged and entitled, and you are looking down on so many people like myself that love audiobooks and do count it as reading. So that's that on that. And I would like us to just go ahead with our lives and forget about the 24 books to read in 2024 reading challenge, because that was... I do not know what possessed me to do that. I do not know what I was thinking about. I did not do that. So let's just, smooth sailing to 2025. Hello, 2025. This is the year that I turned 30. Processing here. Okay, 2025. This is the year of great things. The world is going to shit. I need 2025 to be a good reading year, because otherwise. Reading goals and resolutions for 2025. I have 7, and I do think that I can do it. Again, perhaps in 2026 I will. Oh my god, 2026. Wow, what sentence just came out of my mouth right there. I might find myself saying again at the beginning of 2026, looking back, that I was naive, but I want to be optimistic. I do think that these goals are achievable. I am very, very excited about them, and so let's think positive. The first reading goal, as always, as tradition demands, is the Goodreads reading challenge. How many books I want to read in 2025. I love the color of this year's Goodreads reading challenge, by the way. It is so cute. I love that shade. I have set up my Goodreads reading challenge for 75 books. I want to read at least 75 books in 2025. I wanted a number that could be divided by 25 for some reason, because again, I'm weird. That's my brand. I do want to try and read more in 2025, but at the same time, I do not want to feel the pressure too much of being behind, and I want to try and read some books that, because of the genres they belong to, they might have more pages or might require more reading time to complete them. And so I think 75 is a perfect number, and I love that. So 75 books to read in 2025. The second reading goal is, again, another standard reading challenge for me, and that is the queer reading challenge or LGBT plus reading challenge. And here I'm going to be mean because I really hate the fact that I failed in 2024. That was not supposed to happen in the slightest. And so instead of saying that I want 70% of the books that I read to be queer, I'm gonna go with 75. I'm gonna make it harder, because since I did not accomplish it, I want to double down. 75% of the books that I read in 2025, I want them to be queer. I want them to be so goddamn queer. And this time I'm not gonna fail. The third goal is the format challenge, or better yet, the audiobook reading challenge. Let's call it what it is. For this one, I'm gonna stick to what I said last year. I would like 40% of the books that I read in 2025 to be audiobooks, because again, I love audiobooks. They are a huge part of my reading. That's how I read. That's how I love to read. However, I do not want to go above, I do not want to do more than what I did last year, because again, due to some genres that I would like to read more of in 2025, many things I already know that I will not be able to read as audiobooks, and I will go more into that in a minute. I just do not want to set up myself to fail so easily. Despite how much I love reading audiobooks, I also want to be realistic with the goals. I'm gonna stick with the 40%, and I feel very good about that number. We shall see what happens, but 40% of the books that I read in 2025 hopefully will be audiobooks. Fourth reading goal, and now you'll understand why I was saying what I was saying about the audiobooks and about the number of books and all that. In 2025, I would like to read more fantasy. I would like to read more graphic novels, and I would like to read more nonfiction books. I want to go so far as to say that I would like to read one nonfiction book per month. I think that's doable depending on the type of nonfiction book that I choose, but that is something that I really did not do in 2024, and I kind of miss that because I do love reading nonfiction. I do love reading memoirs, so the fact that I didn't read much in that genre in 2024 is kind of a shame. I did read some, and the ones that I did read I loved, so it is something that I want to read more of in 2025. As for the fantasy, sci-fi, and graphic novels, I did read more from these genres in 2024, which was already something that I had wanted to do, so I am very happy about that, and I would like to do even more in 2025. And the thing is, graphic novels, I do not listen as audiobooks. Never, ever. I would not want to, because a huge component of graphic novels is the art style, the images, the illustrations, however you want to call them, and you do not get that in audiobooks. So for me, that just does not quite compute. It doesn't quite make sense. Nonfiction books I can listen to depending again on the type of nonfiction. If it is a very narrative nonfiction, if it is a memoir, I will listen to it on audio, so that's a bit of a dolly. Fantasy, sci-fi, those I cannot do in audiobook format because, you know, of the fantasy names, because of the setting, because of the world buildings, because of all the information that you need to really pay attention and memorize to fully understand and appreciate a fantasy book. So I cannot really do that as audio. I kind of get lost with the names and all that, so those are genres that I really personally cannot do as audiobooks. So since I want to read more from that genre, I already know that it's something that I will have to do reading ebooks or physical books, God forbid. My fifth reading goal is the Book Riot Read Harder Challenge. Every year, right at the beginning of the year, I look up the Book Riot Read Harder Challenge. And every year when I see the prompts, I think to myself, this is too hard. I know that I won't be able to do it. So I see it and I let it go immediately because I know that it's not gonna happen. However, this year, the 2025 Read Harder Challenge from Book Riot, I can do it. I can do it. When I saw the prompts, I was already thinking of titles that I could read for those prompts and thinking of titles that I do want to read sometime soon. And I was like, you know what? This is 2025. I am turning 30. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but I just want to try. I will leave in the description down below the downloadable PDF with the Book Riot Read Harder's prompts for 2025, as well as the link to the website, so you can see for yourselves if you're interested, but it is doable. And I am so excited for the fact that it is actually doable, at least for me, that I couldn't resist, you know? So I am doing it. We shall see. This is not the 2024 books to read in 2024. That was stupid, okay? That was me being stupid and falling prey to the trend and the peer pressure, even though nobody else was putting pressure on me. That was something that I did to myself. But this year, the Book Riot Read Harder Challenge, mark my words, I can do it. We shall meet again in 2026 and you will see that I will have succeeded. We shall see. Sixth reading goal for 2025 is the Book Reviewer Reading Challenge. Now, this is something that has to do with me taking notes, okay, when it comes to the books that I read. This is about me finishing a book, going to Goodreads or Storygraph, because I'm on both and I use them in different ways, so it's fine. But this is about me going to one of those and immediately writing down my thoughts on the book as soon as I'm done reading it. Because I do it when the year starts, I do it. For the first few months, I do it. And then we go towards July, August, September, and I kind of disappear. I stop doing it because I am just inconsistent to my core, and that needs to change. So this year I want to do it. And also this year, what I would love to do, okay? This is something that I have been thinking about for a while, and I think I might have figured out a solution to my problem, but I'm still, twisting the details and kind of outlining exactly how I want to do it. I want to have a physical folder, let's call it folder, a physical folder with the covers of all the books that I read throughout the year on one side, and on the other side of the paper, the sheet, something I don't know. I'm still, twisting the details and figuring it out. But on the other side, I want my written review or my thoughts or some quotes or something that reminds me about the book in question. And that is because I read mostly audiobooks and ebooks. So I do not read my physical books. The shelves behind me, for another reason that we'll go into at another time, the shelves behind me are empty. I have not been reading a lot of physical books lately. Last year, I read 4 physical books out of 84, and those physical books were library books. They were not mine, so they don't even count. And so I do not have a visual of the books that I read throughout the year, and especially when it comes to audiobooks, because I use the Libby app, I use Storytel, so I don't even have them on my e-reader. It makes it much harder to remember what books I read in which year. So I do want to have like a visual physical aid to kind of help me out with that. And so that is something that I definitely want to figure out better and do in 2025, to see the books that I read on one side and then to have like my written, printed thoughts on the other side. And please, if you have any ideas on how I can best do that, best achieve that, please let me know. I would love to hear some ideas because I'm still quite confused about how to go about it, So, and my last reading goal for 2025 is the Booktuber challenge. I think I did better in 2024. I was more present, I was more consistent. I have wrap-ups for all the months of the year, apart from December, maybe. For December, it always goes like that. And I also did, I also did a Vlogmas sort of type of thing. So I was more present, I was more consistent, and I am very happy about that. I really think I did much more. I really think I improved, and I'm extremely proud of myself for doing that. However, I do realize, looking back and also in the long run, that my most watched videos are my review videos, which again surprised me. I was not expecting that in the slightest. I would think that people would gravitate more towards wrap-ups and stuff, but that's not how it is with me. I do not understand it. I do not know, but I'm just looking at the numbers. I do appreciate that. I do love that viewers enjoy my reviews, but that is not something that I usually do. So that is something that is going to change in 2025. I want to try and do more. I want to try and dedicate slightly more time to videos and booktube and filming. This year, I really want to go for it and see if I am still going to be doing this next year. This might be my last year on Booktube. The thing is, I have been thinking lately, I do not know if it's because I'm about to turn 30. I do not know if it's because I am just thinking about my future and where I'm gonna go in life and all those things. I do not know. I honestly do not know. But I do feel like, or I have been feeling like, I am redundant. I do not know if I am really contributing to anything. And that is fine. That's part of life. I am not complaining. I'm not pitying myself. This is not what this is. I am just thinking rationally about how I spend my time and what I can do with my time. I do not do Booktube for money. This is never gonna be my job. I am never going to make anything off of it. I've always known that, so that's nothing new here. But it does take time. It takes a lot of time. And I do it because I love it. But if I do not feel like I'm contributing to something, if I don't feel like I am making even a small difference with my videos, then is the time invested into it really worth it? Because when I do this, I do not read, I do not spend time with my wife, I do not spend time with my family or doing other things that I love. And that's, that's a calculated risk. You do something, you take time away from other things, that's fine. But, work, we gotta work because we gotta earn money, because we have to sustain ourselves and pay for things. And again, that's life. The things that you do in your free time should bring you joy, and you should feel like what you're doing makes a difference somehow. And I am not quite sure my videos do that. Again, this is just self-reflection. I'm just putting it out there. I'm just thinking out loud now. I have decided that I'm going to use this year, I will do my best, I'm going to use this year as a sounding board of sorts, as a test, and see how it goes. I want to give it my best, because if by the end of the year these feelings are kind of still there, then it's been a nice journey and I will remember it as such. If I do not find other answers to my questions about life and stuff. So I do not want to end on a bad note. I am sorry. I will be more present. You will get more of my face. This is the positive note that I wanted to end the video with. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I didn't ramble on too much. I think that I did, because I always do, but I hope it wasn't too much and it was still enjoyable and everything. So thank you so much for watching. Please let me know what you think about my reading goals and resolutions for 2025. Let me know what your reading goals and resolutions are for 2025, because I would love to know. I will see you very soon in another video that is probably, let's be honest, going to be my favorite books that I read in 2024. And until then, have a good one, take care, and keep reading queer books. Warm hugs.